in search for new perspective of heritage on display within non-official Jewish museums in post-Soviet space. And while the general topic of my PhD research is searching for new perspective of best practices for management and promotion of tangible and intangible Jewish heritage in selected post-Soviet cities, of which I will be speaking further, which I approach from both practical and theoretical perspectives, including the methodological lens of memory studies. This very paper of mine is focused on one aspect of my research, which eventually will become, I hope, a full-fledged chapter in my dissertation. And namely the way memory of the shared past is constructed within an institute of local Jewish museums in 4 post-Soviet cities. So, just to give you the general overview, first I will very shortly sketch the framework of my whole dissertation, and then I will describe the above-mentioned museum case studies with reference of how they incorporate into the broader framework of what I do. So the aim I generally define within this dissertation is to understand multiple historical, managerial, and ideological reasons for current poor condition of Jewish heritage sites on post-Soviet space. So to identify problems in management of Jewish sites, take into account general problems of heritage preservation system functioning, and to offer certain recommendations to improve the managerial strategy applied to Jewish sites. So to pursue this aim, I conduct comparative research in 3 post-Soviet states, which is Moldova, Ukraine, and Belarus, reducing the detailed analysis to 4 cities, which are Chisinau in Moldova, Odessa and Lviv in Ukraine, and Minsk in Belarus. So I look at this problem through 3 major lenses, which is through functioning of heritage discourse since late Soviet times till late 2013, through legislation, official documentation, media, and discourse of local Jewish communities, through practices of heritage care, and finally through strategies of representation of Jewish history in government sponsors and those non-official local Jewish museums I'm going to speak about now. And I limit the analysis by the late 2013, since at the moment I see it really difficult to estimate the full measure of the impact of recent Ukrainian conflict on the set of problems I'm addressing in my research. And the preliminary conclusion so far, well, I'm just sketching it, is that the Jewish heritage sites, as well as other ethnic-related heritage sites on post-Soviet space, apart from representing a value in themselves, have the potential to become a platform for instruction and spirits of respect towards multi-ethnic past, civil liability, and responsibility. And taking a decent care of these sites, if carried out and communicated with the involvement of local public, has the potential to become a tool for performing an informed and responsible approach to urban settings in general. So, going to the paper I submitted for this training school, it discusses the agency of memory transmission in present-day Jewish museums in those sites, in Chisinau, in a museum in Odessa, Lviv, and Minsk. And I will, go back to this picture. All of which function as umbrella programs within other local Jewish organizations, which allows me, as I see it, to address these institutions as so-called non-official museums. So my aim was to answer the following questions. First of all, are these museums? And what is the major narratives on local and Jewish, let's say, shared past and present transmitted by these museums, if we consider them to be agents of memory? And who is responsible for this, for defining and disseminating this message? And if there is a common one for all 4 case studies, and what it developed, then also what are the social functions of these museums as institutions? And in order to answer the above-listed questions, I applied comparative cross-national perspective and analyzed the museums and their content through the following filters. People, and I will show you some of them, but I won't tell you their names. So those who lead those museums, and their role as leaders and personality and their personality. Principles of collection acquisitions, ways of representation of Jewish life, death, and heritage, and finally relation to actual built heritage listed in the cities of interest, which is the link to my general research. So in late 2013 and early 2014, I conducted field work in the above mentioned cities and visited their museums, those which I showed you. Right, so they were called the Museum of Jewish Heritage Moldova, the Museum of Jewish Heritage of the History of Odessa Jews, the Museum Room Tracing Galician Jews, and Jewish History and Culture Museum in Belarus. So my field work consisted of visual analysis of permanent expositions, and this is what you saw in the pictures, and their temporary exhibitions if there were any, the participant observation and local oral history interviews with the museum heads, the pictures of those I showed you. And the interviews are of core importance here since, and I cite experts of them in the paper, since they allow to voice a personal motivation, which is of core importance here, again, of the museum heads in relation to the process of running the museum, which they see as a personal vocation. So the artifact collections related to local Jewish life were collected starting from 1980s and